Hey guys, Monk52 here of course, and today we're looking at the Kronshtadt, so let's dive right in. First mod, recommend aiming systems. It will help out with your additional bit of aiming, and also just general pretty good. Propulsion mod is what I recommend. You could go steering, but I think propulsion mod will help you out mostly. And this is a weird one. I think steering gears is the better option here, but concealment is always a good standard here. You do get like 15 kilometer concealment when you have the rudder mod, but I feel it's more effective. And of course the most consistent one is main battery mod 3. Just for the more DPS, it's always usually the better option there. Kronstadt's a weird one. It's really fast reload with our builds. We'll go into it later. You've got very high hit points, and you've got Stalingrad-esque guns that hit a bit harder than the Stalingrad. You can see we've got a Bimbelli build here. We'll go more into the build a bit later, but basically we've got a fast reload on here, and you're firing every 13.7 seconds, 14 seconds, which is very quick. A is okay, speed is kind of slow. As I said, with our build, it's quite high concealment. You get a standard nice 2 heals, you've got a lot of health, and it's basically a Stalingrad-esque guns, but armour is really different. So you can see 25 nose is actually quite a big weakness for the boat. It's nose and stern, and the Citadel is kind of really easy to hit through the nose. You're also coated, it's Russian Citadel as well, so be aware of that. It is basically exposed. But the P-Protection is actually protecting it this time, so it's a bit odd. 27mm decking, which is a problem. Superstructure is enough. It's quite a big boat, but it's not too much superstructure, but the 27mm deck is really what is really hurting this thing from HE. You angle correctly in this boat, you can pull some really good bounces off, but you need to be good if you're angling, because if you're over angle, you're just giving broadside, and you need to be careful with it. But that's your Citadel there. It's also kind of spaced. Do you see how it's it's thinner in the middle, and it's actually wider on the bow and stern, making it even more easy to sail there for the front. So you just want to do your best you can to angle, maybe use island cover to avoid your nose or butt being seen or shot at, so you can try your best to mitigate the damage. If you're in a tough position, angle the best you can, hope for the best, basically. It's nothing like Stalingrad armour where you can just sit bow on, or you can just have an angled bow, and you basically don't have to worry about anything. They can 100% overmatch you. This is a tier 8 boat, it's not a legendary tier boat, which I mean, it's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly fine for the job. It hits harder than Stalingrad, it doesn't have the same pen values of course, but it does have some pretty good fast reload. We're using IMB Delightful, which is the event commander. We've got the Snow Maiden guys on. Obviously his base trait is Phantom Bane and Eliminator, so the detectability. More range, intuitive, punch through, Fear My Roar for more accuracy. Again, it's nice to spec into accuracy. Refill Station, a bit more range, a bit more reload. Norman's got a bit more accuracy, it does help, and Bimbelli for additional reload. Now if you don't have Event Commander, you just use this similar setup. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is you don't use Fear My Roar, fully packed, and then Norman Scott, or I would just use Bimbelli again. Bimbelli is probably going to help you out most. So Norman Scott and Bimbelli are probably the best inspirations. I went for Refill Station for a bit more reload. You have as I said, these are accurate. These are 2.01 Sigma. Basically slightly more accurate than an Iowa, but you fire every 13 seconds, and these guns are Stalingrad-esque guns. Very powerful. You can run a concealment build for it, but the way I play it, you don't really need it too much, so we'll go into that and dive right in here. So, I'm actually showcasing the method of how I play this boat to Zarkun. This game we're actually playing it together here. We take separate flanks, so I can't really, I can call this the guide because we do separate, but he's trying out his methods of, he's learning the boat just as everyone is, and we're trying it out. So, really the cool thing about Kronshtadt is its guns. Its guns are so good. It can really punch anything broadside, battleships, cruisers, even destroyers. It does perfectly fine at doing that job really well. Obviously, as people have been saying, it has got battleship accuracy, not cruiser, not battle cruiser, just straight up battleship, but very good battleship accuracy. But think of it as a more accurate Iowa, but you fire every 13 seconds, so you're putting out some pretty nasty gun power here. And these are Russian 305. These are borderline Stalingrad guns. It's actually harder than the Stalingrad. In terms of penetration, they're probably a little bit worse, but they still do some meaty chunk damage. I've Citadel'd Musashi's at range, I've Citadel'd Maine at range, I've done some nasty stuff. And these guns are not to be underestimated in any way, shape or form. Now, a bit odd for a Russian cruiser, but it's actually pretty good at arcing over islands. This island here is a prime example. You can really shoot a lot of shells over islands, you can get really good results here. Alaska is pretty terrifying, so we're just going to do our best to try and angle as much as we can. Against cruiser fire, small arms fire, even super cruiser fire, you can do pretty good. So you can see really not much here. We've got a lot of hit points, but it can go down fairly quickly if you mess up. We're going to take some cover here. You really want to get a good position and just either hold it or kite with it, really. Because you want to use these guns to fire as frequently as possible, but you really want to mitigate any damage you take. Island cover is essential for this Kronshtadt. You can get good shots. When in legendary tier games, you've got good ranges to mess around with, which means you can usually get some arcing shots. Usually in the Russians don't have the best arcing for over islands, but the Kronstadt's not bad at it. It's weird. We can't actually do it right now, but we've got a lot of stuff focusing on this side. We've went to this side because this is where most of the action is normally at. Obviously, capping the base is the main objective, and we're doing that with our team, which is great. And our main goal is just holding back the incoming tide over here. That is inevitably going to try and flank our team. So yeah, we're just doing what we can here. We see Alaska giving pretty much a broadside. The Kronshtadt does not have improved pin angles, so you need to be aware of that. But you can shoot pretty comfortably, well, almost fully angled. So you can get some really good shots there. You can see Alaska doesn't really care because Alaska has some of the best, has better improved pin angles than Stalingrad does. But still, not as much as devastating as it could be. We're just doing what we can, taking some hits on the deck plating and the superstructure, and we're just bouncing what we can here. But you'd be surprised at how much we can arc over in terms of islands, for considering it's Russian. And the gun caliber is so good, and the power of this boat is really good. It's one of the best cruisers in this game to capitalize and punish broadside ships fast at tier 8, because obviously this is not a legendary tier boat, and it's a tier 8 boat. Incredibly good at what it does, honestly. I think the rune of the buffalo are close to doing what this Kronshtadt can do, but they have nowhere near the same amount of pain as this thing does. This thing is pretty darn insane in terms of its punching power. You can see this Montana here. He's giving almost flat broadside, so we're just going to see what we can do. I wouldn't be surprised if we Citadel him once or even twice. I think we get a little bit unlucky in this shot here. Yeah, we get a little bit unlucky at that shot. Not really much there. Again, the dispersion can troll you, but who really cares when you fire every 13 seconds? You have Stalingrad-esque guns, and you're firing every 13 seconds. It's pretty good for you. Look, again, there we go. 5 overpens that time. Unfortunate, but hey, it's still very good damage. You're pumping this at every 13 seconds. That's 2 battleship salvos. You can fire like half a battleship salvo here. We fire Montana here. Then we get a bit more lucky here. I'm not even sure now. No, well, 2 more pens there. Again, we're getting a bit trolled here, but at the same time, it's good damage. We're not taking anything in return for it. We're not trading like battleships have to trade for the salvos. We're just firing more and more. And, just like any battleship, basically, in terms of caliber guns, you can get some meaty salvos like that. A Citadel in Maine at 16 kilometers-ish as well. The damage you can pump out is quite exceptional. You may not realize it, but we're already up to 64,000, 65,000. And, yeah, the damage you're pumping out is quite good. You can get very good pens, very good consistent damage, and it's very quick as well. You're firing every 13 seconds, you got Russian shell arcs, Russian velocity, so you're pumping the damage out very quickly. And if you're abusing island cover, like here, you're taking nothing for return. Nothing against us in return. You're not taking any... There's no downside. Again, you're just taking nothing wrong with it at all. Oh, Alaska. I'd love to back up a little bit just for those front guns to get in action, because we're just using a rear gun there. We got 1 pen, but if we had the front guns, we could have done a lot more here. So we're going to back up a little bit. And we're going to take another shot here. I think, yeah, the grouping looks pretty good, but I think that Alaska is angled. Yeah, he's actually angled a bit too much for us. That's a bit unfortunate. Still, 2 overpens and 1 pen. It really does add up. It's a little bit of damage, a little bit of chip damage at a time. We would have got a better salvo if he's a bit less angled, but hey, we can ask for everything sometimes. Well, looks like we're going to have to start pushing up. Looks like our wee damage farming spot has probably reached its limit here. But 78,000's not bad at all already. And, ooh, Montana. Is that the Montana or the Maine we shot at before? I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, we're going to have to back up here, get a little bit more comfortable shots. Rune doesn't look like we want to poke out. Montana's behind an island too, so we're going to start pushing up here and doing what we can. Our team look like they're holding the middle, kind of. Nothing really's been taken though. It's been unfortunate, but hey, kind of everything. They're defending the cap. We've got the points lead. This is looking pretty good. Zarkin's holding the other side of the flank here, and yeah, we're getting some good results here. We see a Rune over here. We're going to fire at him. Zarkin does go down, actually. That's unfortunate. We smack him, but we get overpenned because, again, These are 305mm guns, Stalingrad S. I don't believe they have short fuse though, so we don't have the advantage of not getting as many overpens as the Stalingrad would not get because of the short fuse shells. We don't get that advantage. We are again tier 8, we are not legendary tier bolt, because Stalingrad guns are without a doubt legendary tier guns. You're getting close to that, but you're getting a couple of drawbacks as well, because it is a tier 8, simple as that. I don't mind this bolt at all, it's actually really quite enjoyable, and I think it's quite strong as well, but you just need to know what you're shooting at and know what you can and can't handle, because that rune's dead, there's no denying that. The rune's dead. We're firing all three just to guarantee that he's dead. He's dead. We bounce his salvo, we pushing on here. Montana is a problem, yeah, 100%. We're going to turn our guns here and not be bound to the man. We're going to try and present an angled front to the man, and we're just going to have to rush him at this point. We're 10 kilometers away, he's rushing towards us, I'm rushing towards him. We're going to try and break his guns, because Stalingrad guns, again, basically Stalingrad guns, they're just a discount Stalingrad guns. And there we go, we actually damaged one of his gun turrets there, so that will prevent him from doing as meaty salvo as he could do. We angle the best we can, we still take some health loss, but again, we've got 71,000 health. If we angle correctly, we should mitigate most of what he dishes out to us, and yeah, we can do what we can. And again, we fire every 13 seconds. We've basically double his reload, and we have similar power in terms of gun power, because our penetration is just so good. As you can see right here, we're getting some meaty chunks here. 10k a salvo for just like 6 guns. You're firing every 13 seconds. It's not bad, you know, and that's a mediocre salvo. If you're looking at a real salvo, this thing can do, there we go, just straight up kills them with 18k, and that's just the front two guns. Again, it could be more because they have more health, and it's just the damage you can dish out in this thing is really quite astonishing, and you just gotta give it the chance. The biggest thing is keeping yourself alive. You gotta play it like a cruiser, most likely a heavy cruiser, because you can bounce the salvos from battleships, and you had to pick the moments when you can push them, but you have the armor to do it. You just have to be very careful about it, and you make sure that you protect your bow, because it's a very big weakness. But the gun power you have when you shoot something broadside is not to be underestimated. Even if you do mess up your first shot, or even your second shot, you know, you only need to fight. You've got 13 second, 14 second reload. Doesn't even matter to say it's 15 second, you know. Realistically, you've got battleship caliber guns. Like if you look at Stalingrad's reload, it's like 20 something seconds. You know, these are really fast reloaded guns. Even with our build, you may not be able to get my build, but you just run my belly, man. You run my belly with a refill station. You can really dish out high damage games here, and it's quite extreme. It really is quite extreme. And yeah, as you can see right here, we pumped out 150k. We've taken a little bit of damage here, about half our health, but overall, we didn't really. We could have dished out plenty more of this game. We could have done a lot more of this game, and you know. This is what I'm saying, you play this behind an island, you really get to pump out damage here. The live stream here, we did over 200k, I actually broke the record for this boat. You saw that if you want to look more in more games of this, we've actually covered this in a live stream. I'll try and link that in the description, or one of the audio cards that pops up. But yeah, pretty interesting game. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. I hope this helps you with your Kronштadting. Or any questions, just pop in the comments below. And, you know, have a lovely day, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.